Rapper Sean Kingston and his mother are arrested, accused of stealing more than $1 million in a fraud scheme that allegedly includes stolen jewelry, cars, furniture, and money.
They had, 50 or 60 officers there, a SWAT team, long guns. They threw a dog allegedly over the fence to get in there. They destroyed a lot of the house during their search.
We're hearing from Kingston's attorney for the first time since his arrest, comparing the raid of his home to Nazi Germany.
Because of the Gestapo-type raid there, bringing all these SWAT team guys in with masks so they wouldn't be identified like some sort of a mafia undercover raid. It was really ridiculous.
The arrest and raid apparently a shock to Kingston and his team.
We had no idea it was coming.
This is a Law&Crime legal alert. Google Incognito tracked users' browsing data without their knowledge. Mass Tort Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, is helping users file for compensation due to Google users' privacy issues through their Incognito browser. If you've used Google Incognito anytime since 2016, you can start your claim in less than 10 questions at incognitoclaims.com/LCnews. This story takes us back to the early 2000s when Sean Kingston saw his first glimpse of limelight. You probably know his hit song Beautiful Girls from 2007 or that 2010 song Eeny Meeny that he worked on with Justin Bieber. Kingston, whose legal name is Keyshawn Anderson, still performs today, but hasn't seen the same commercial success as he originally did when he debuted into the music world. He was actually performing last week at an airbase in the Mojave Desert. That's where he was arrested as officials raided his home in Florida.
If we had known they were coming, we would open the door and said, "Here, come on in, do your search."
That's Robert Rosenblatt, Sean Kingston's attorney. I asked him about the raids and the charges against Kingston and his mother, 61-year-old Janice Turner. A couple of the things I've seen include conducting an organized scheme to defraud, grand theft, identity theft, related crimes. What do you make of all of these charges?
We don't think they're going to stick. This is basically a civil suit that they've turned into a criminal case. There's been no criminal intent. We'll handle each of these allegations separately in court.
The civil lawsuit Rosenblatt's referring to is one from February, filed by Ver Entertainment. According to court docs, Sean Kingston reached out to the company in September 2023, saying he wanted to purchase a 232-inch TV and sound system. Ver alleges that Kingston agreed to record some promotions for the company in exchange for a discount. But Kingston also teased a big name of a former collaborator. So some of the allegations that I've seen include straight from Ver Entertainment that Sean Kingston, your client, was going to do promotional videos, I guess, or commercials alongside
Right.
Justin Bieber in order to promote and then get a reduced price for some of the products. Is that accurate?
Well, that's it. That's what their allegations are. I'm not so sure he's going to do it with Justin Bieber. A lot of it was going to be his own princes.
And does he plan to do that, those commercials or promotions?
Well, that's something we're talking about right now. I mean, obviously they kind of jumped the gun there by filing the lawsuit because the contract, as I read it, didn't have any specific deadline for him to do that. So there's even a question whether it's a breach or not. Sean's very busy. He's doing a lot of concerts and traveling a lot.
So basically, Ver Entertainment says this $110,000 entertainment system was installed in Sean Kingston's Florida home, and Kingston only paid them $30,000. Ver says they haven't seen any of those promotional videos either, but Rosenblatt says there was no timetable on Kingston's contract. Even still, it was Ver's lawsuit that likely led to the raid of Kingston's home.
Well, that was the main impetus for bringing this case. The TV issues and whatever. It was a civil contract. They attached the contract to the complaint. I just pulled it up this morning. I didn't see any appearances on behalf of any defendant yet, but I mean that was the start of it, and they pyramided all these other allegations, which we'll address and we deny.
All this brings us to the raid of Kingston's home in Southwest Ranches, Florida, about 15 miles outside of Fort Lauderdale. The Broward County Sheriff's Office performed the raid on May 23rd and took out that TV Verveer had installed for Kingston. Rosenblatt compared the raid to the Gestapo, the police in Nazi Germany. He says Kingston could still do the promotional videos for Verveer, but he doesn't have the TV anymore anyway.
And if he could fit into a schedule, then he'll comply with his agreement, which may be moot at this point because of the Gestapo type raid there. They took the TV back, so I'm not so sure even if that is going to be that case will be pending or not.
You compared that raid there, Gestapo-like raid is what you said. Have you talked to either of your clients, Sean, about that? I know that he wasn't there at the time, but what are they thinking about it?
No, well, I didn't speak to him about it, but I did speak to Janice about it, and I saw the video. It was uncalled for. Bringing all these SWAT team guys in with masks so they wouldn't be identified like some sort of a mafia undercover raid. It was really ridiculous. The amount of manpower they used to take a TV out.
Rosenblatt had more to say about the raid, too.
It looked like they thought Osama bin Laden had been resurrected. They had, 50 or 60 officers there, a SWAT team, long guns. They threw a dog allegedly over the fence to get in there. They destroyed a lot of the house during their search. It was, really uncalled for to arrest a 61-year-old grandmother, bring her out in handcuffs.
He's referring to Janice Turner, Kingston's mother, but this isn't her first tangle with the law. In the early 2000s, she was convicted of stealing more than $160,000. She served 1.5 years in prison. Since then, the pair faced at least 3 civil lawsuits for failure to pick up major tabs from jewelry stores, customized watchmakers, and entertainment systems. Also, some of the reports that I've seen include that Sean Kingston had already been on probation at this time for trafficking stolen property. Way in the past, back in 2006, Janice had served more than 1 year in prison, and then there were multiple lawsuits that they both faced from 2006 onward for fraud. Some people are saying this is a pattern. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm not privy to all the old lawsuits. If you go back to 2006, these are business people. They're going to have lawsuits against them, for various reasons. I'm not sure how the lawsuits were disposed of, whether they were dismissed or what occurred. I'd be interested to find out. But that's all history, and they have no relevance to this particular case. This case has to rise and fall on the facts of its own, not on something that occurred 16 years ago, or may have occurred 16 years ago.
With Kingston's legal history in mind, I asked Rosenblatt about the current charges of conducting an organized scheme to defraud, grand theft, identity theft, and other related crimes. Were these charges and arrests a surprise to you? Did you know that they were coming?
No, obviously not. If we had known they were coming, we would open the door and said, "Here, come on in, do your search." Janice could be surrendered if they wanted to charge her with something. No, we had no idea it was coming. And of course, they do it on a Thursday, which is the long weekend, so she can't get out of jail. They do these roundups. They like doing that on long weekends, so the defendants don't have access to the court to get out on bond. So it was pre-planned to do it on a Thursday, on a long weekend.
According to court documents, Kingston and his mother didn't just defraud Verveer Entertainment. They also allegedly stole $500,000 in jewelry, $100,000 from First Republic Bank, $200,000 from Bank of America, $86,000 from a customized bed company, and $160,000 from an Escalade dealer. What does Sean say about this? Is it a misunderstanding? Is he fessing up to things? Where is he at?
Well, I can't tell you that. That's kind of attorney-client privilege, but say he denies the allegations. And we look forward to proceeding, in a courtroom where we can present our case.
At the time of the raid, Kingston was in California. Rosenblatt says he was taken into custody there and is being held in Los Angeles.
Well, we haven't waived the extradition yet. That's one of the issues we're going to be bringing up. They don't even have a prosecutor assigned to this case yet. So it's kind of hard to reach out to somebody. Hopefully they'll have somebody assigned quickly so we can deal with them and negotiate with them. But what we would do is have him recall the warrant, post a bond in Florida, have him waive extradition, and we would bring him back to Fort Lauderdale on his own. That would save the Broward County money for costs of bringing 2 detectives out there. And I don't know how they would get him back, whether by vehicle or by air, but it would save them time and costs, and they would get the same thing. They want him back. We want him back here. Broward County wants him back here. We want to start the legal process and litigation. And he would have a bond that he would put up that if he didn't appear, that would be forfeited. But clearly he would appear. He's well known, and he's not a flight risk, nor is he a danger to the community.
I think that's another reason you mentioned he's well known, why everyone is focusing on this story, because everyone knows some of his music. He's a familiar face. Does that make things more complicated because you are dealing with a celebrity?
Yeah, of course. It's more high profile. Everybody has a microscope looking at everything. So yeah, it makes it more difficult. But we can handle that. We've handled other celebrity cases in the past.
After news of the raid broke, Kingston posted this statement to his Instagram story. It reads in part, quote, "People love negative energy. I am good and so is my mother." I've also seen a post from Sean himself on Instagram. He said, "My lawyers are handling everything as we speak." So that would be you. How are you handling everything?
Well, we're dealing with the prosecution. We have some proposals where Sean can waive extradition and he can return here on his own and surrender, and we'll fight the cases in court. So we have ongoing issues there. We have California counsel we're going to be consulting regarding the extradition issue as well.
As our conversation wrapped, I asked Rosenblatt what we can expect in the case. What's next for you? What are your next game plans ahead?
Well, getting him back to Broward County is the most important thing right now. So we're working on the extradition issues. And as I told you before, we're going to negotiate and try to get him back here and limit the cost to Broward County. They want him back here. We want him back here. So we have mutual interests.
Originally, at the top of our interview, you said you don't think that these charges are going to stick. Do you stand by that? Why do you think that?
Well, I can't go into a lot of the details here, but we have pretty good information that this case will never see a courtroom.
Right now, Kingston is still being held in California, but is expected to return to Florida in the near future. This week, his mother was released from jail in Broward County, Florida on $160,000 bond. Reporting for Law&Crime, I'm Gillespie.